in the sort of coaching business, it's all rah, rah, do it. You can push your boundaries. You can make it happen. Rah, rah, rah. And that's not Natascha's take on this. You're going to tell me, Natascha, why you believe this. Why are you swimming upstream? Why do you think it makes a difference? And the rest of it's about you. Let's go.
Thoughts are racing, spinning fast, ideas flow, but never.
Hello and welcome to episode 45 of Ramblings of a Busy Mind. Today we switch roles. The host will be our guest, Wayne Pratt, and we will be talking about the self-trust operating system, swimming against the stream, and listening to the body.
Rambling on, no straight lines. Welcome to my busy mind.
Hello, folks. My name is Wayne Pratt, and I'm a podcaster and life coach. And a while back, I met Natascha, and on her podcast, and we got talking, and I found out she's doing very different things for very different reasons, and it kind of excited me. So, ironically enough, as I was telling Natascha, in the sort of coaching business, it's all rah, rah, do it. You can push your boundaries. You can make it happen. Rah, rah, rah. And that's not Natascha's take on this.
Oh.
And I think it's very different. When I said, why isn't it? This is different. This isn't what I'm used to hearing. She said, well, frankly, burnout sucks.
Absolutely.
And it leaves scars. It leaves marks. And I realized that she had something different. So I called her and I said, okay, this is different. Where's this coming from? And she says, funny enough, I have been working on this and I've designed a system. And I said, well, tell me, Natascha, what is that system? So you're going to tell me, Natascha, why you believe this. Why are you swimming upstream? Why do you think it makes a difference? And the rest of it's about you. Let's go.
Thank you, Wayne. I love you for that. Throw me in the cold water. Yes, go ahead. It was interesting because it's something that just came up lately. It's not that I haven't been doing it that way, but I've never voiced it the way that it came together now. And basically, it comes from me realizing that I teach people to learn to trust themselves again. Because the first thing we do in burnout, we override everything that we know. We override any intuition and anything that comes up. We just go push, 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 harder, 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 more. And then we burn out. We fold. We are so overwhelmed that we don't know where's left and right, and we don't know what to do. So, and it's not completely named yet, but basically it's coming down to a self-trust operating system that I'm trying to install in people. And it teaches them the awareness of seeing the signals. So if your light turns to yellow, not hitting the gas, hitting the stop, hitting the brake. When you feel your capacity is at limit, not to say, oh, I can put something else on top, or I have to do this for that person. It's your capacity. Go and listen to your limits. Go see your limits. The next one is your energy. So if your battery is showing 3% on your phone, what you do?
I usually hang up and try another phone.
What do you do when your own battery shows 3%?
I talk faster.
See, you're not taking care of yourself. You're pushing again. You're pushing further. You're going way more out of any way that you had to go. And the next one is choice. You have choices. When you have the awareness of this is my limit, this is how far I can go, this is where I overstep my boundaries, then you have the choice to say no. Or to voice it in a way that the other person can accept it, that you say no. For me, it was changing from, no, I can't do that, to, I'll do my best. That sentence alone, or that saying alone, took all the pressure off me because I did my best. I did 100%. I didn't try to do 150% that I didn't have. And the next one is then direction. If you follow the lead of your body, you will not go into overwhelm and stress without choosing so. So those two go hand in hand. Your body will tell you this is enough, and you can decide to override it for short term, but you can know this is the absolute limit. So that would be like your battery saying you have 20%, I'll shut you on battery safe mode, right? Go and charge me. You have about 5 minutes left. Usually it's a little bit longer. But the same happens with yourself. You could put yourself in battery safe mode. So then you pick the things that are really necessary to be done and everything else can fall apart. Not trying to juggle everything at the same time. And
Natascha, am I right in saying that this, on first blush, until you dive into it, seems like almost the antithesis of the rah-rah goal-setting coaching business?
yes, if you voice it that way, yes, it does. And I've never trained as a coach. I'm not a therapist. I have the lived experience and I go from what I learned, what my body did. I've learned, and I come from the bioenergetic wellness field. So that's the other thing. We're working with the body, we're communicating with our body in order to find our best solutions. Most people don't do.
I concur. So I'll ask a question, and the neat news is you can do the editing, so I'll find out how much of the question stays in. But when you are dealing with self-limiting beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
the industry suggests, well, don't tear yourself, but find a stretch. Give it that extra 10%. Have a stretch goal. Where's your take on what's stretching and what's breaking?
That's a good question. Because being fairly out of burnout, it's not that I don't fall back into patterns, but I realized because I was looking at a burnout pattern. We have a roadmap for burnout that I give away for free. And it basically has 4 burnout types. And there's the overachiever, there is the perfectionist, there is the carer, and there's the person who's always on. So each of them have different characteristics. And I look back at it and in the first moment, not thinking about like right now, looking at it, none of them fits for me because I trust myself.
Mhm.
When I trust myself, I have the innate knowing what can I do and what can I approach and fail, and it's fine. That's the thing. So limiting belief often stems from I'm overwhelmed. I know I cannot do it. It doesn't work. I will not get there. But when I get to a point where I can breathe and where I can go and when I can be curious about things and be adventurous, then I can say, oh, I might fail, but what happens? So everything goes hand in hand. The self-doubt, limiting beliefs will come in when you don't trust yourself.
So there, that answers the next podcast. How do you build that trust, Natascha?
Slowly, step by step, carefully, and tiny steps. Don't try for the big picture right away. Just find one thing a day, a week. Breathing is the first thing. That's the first thing for me. Breathing was one. Communicating with my body, having muscle biofeedback as a tool to check in with myself, but also to check, did I do things? That's a big thing for me. Like I became so OCD because my mind would never remember if I'd done things or not. But having muscle monitoring, and I use my finger, you can use a body panel, you can use your breath. It's just talking to your body. My body could always tell me, yes, you've done, and it was 95% right or 99% right because the muscle memory was there, but not my brain. Getting out of your brain, it's a gift because you're not doubting, you're not overthinking, you're not questioning, questioning, questioning. You just go, your body says yes. And when the trust is built by practicing muscle monitoring or muscle biofeedback, you learn to trust your body more than your brain.
So one thing that my inbox is filled with is other people's coaching solutions and courses, and it seems like one of the modalities out there is after you've burned it down, call me. And these are the people who did burn out, quit their job, got fired, said something stupid, ruined a marriage, and then, oh wait, a coaching solution. Merry Christmas. You seem to be able to prevent that. I like the idea of this lifesaver. Getting to the having the fire extinguisher before you burn the house down. That's kind of exciting.
Well, that's the bioenergetic wellness approach is self-responsibility for one and self-care. So we try to get you to a point where you have all the tools at hand that you can help yourself. For me, that means showing you ways that you can realize where you're going, and then you can choose a different path. It basically gives the power back in your hands and allows you to do whatever you need, right? In order to get to where you need to. And my work, when I work one-on-one with somebody, it's always a judgment-free place, and it's always a place that is yours, it's not mine. I'm there to assist you to find your way, but I'm not walking it for you because I cannot do the work for you.
Now, I'm going to try something that you've alluded to, but didn't actually outright say. Based on an interview we had where I was the one being interviewed, am I correct in saying that being a people pleaser naturally, that you learned at 12, 15, 20, whatever, 7, means that the agency to self-care seems rarer and harder to do because you want to please them so desperately. Is that fair?
That's fair. That's people pleaser, care, whatever you want to care, whatever you want to call it. My father told me at times I have a helper syndrome, so I have to help everybody. Not me, supposedly. But yeah, it's to the point then when you put everybody else's needs first and yours last, be that others or be that companies that you work for, which usually is not really appreciated or validated. You do everything because you have the need to produce, like to provide for the company, for that person, and they don't see it. So then it becomes do I have to say yes all the time? Or can I go and say, not now, maybe in an hour? I'll do my best, not yes. So that's all wording that brings you to the right path. And a big part for me was to learn to change my language to myself and to others. So today, when I have situations where I have to defend my boundaries, or make sure that my limits are not overreached, I ask questions to others. These usually lead to them changing their thinking, which leads them to see my point without me having to make my point.
My understanding, at the risk of being woo-woo, is you had dealt with parts of this for some time, but that it came together in an almost supernatural way. I was wondering if you could lay out your version of how that happened and maybe even why it happened.
How that happened was like I was in burnout for almost 25 years. So I have had symptoms for 25 years and more. The earliest, which is actually even longer, the earliest signs for me to get into burnout were there with 18. I never saw them. I never saw them up until I started. Even when I got diagnosed with adrenal fatigue, it was not burnout. It was never called burnout. It was just, yeah, you shut your adrenals. That's it. When I started studying in 2014 for my master's, it all started to come together. Prior to that, I took my trainings in Ayurveda, in sound healing, in therapeutic touch, which is energy healing, and touch for health, which is now called in Canada bioenergetic wellness. But it all came together as I took my trainings when I needed them the most. So I was always the worst case. So I have the lived experience what happens when you come from totally depleted into a calm and peaceful mind. And when you all of a sudden can be calm and not think, not think, not think. And that was with the sound, like the sound healing, the singing bowls were the first step for me, where I could breathe, where I could just step back and just be on neutral and not having to go and run the shopping list or my to-do list or whatever. And the last few years, I realized that I have a story to tell, and that I have knowledge that is lived knowledge, that is not trained knowledge. And bringing that to the table allows me to help others to walk their way easier. And hopefully happier, because that's my motto. I choose happiness. And that's how I got basically out of my job. I quit my job when I realized that every word was like, F that, and I hate this, and I don't want to do this. So I quit my job in 2016. I gave my boss 4 months time to find somebody else. To this day, I still sometimes work for him on my terms. And I never looked back. I became self-employed and did my studies. It took me 10 years to finish my master's, but those 10 years were my healing phase. That was when I did all my changes came to be. And then last year came the big aha moment where I realized what I have at my hand and how I actually teach people, because I never put it in words. I could put bits and pieces, but it never became a system. It never was a full-blown idea. I was still stuck in the sound healing and teaching people about bioenergetic vibrational tuning, which is another workshop where you use sound to assess and balance, hands-on approach. But this approach now as the burnout recovery guide, it just came last year. It came together and all the bits and pieces were there. I just didn't see the bigger picture.
I don't know if it's a good analogy. I think you know I love analogies. I sort of imagine you building a puzzle upside down, and you had all the pieces, and you tried to make them fit and tried to make them fit and tried to make them fit, and then all of a sudden you learned to turn around the puzzle, and there was the picture.
Yeah,
Is that fair?
that's fair. It's a fair description. But last year was also a year where there was a lot of burnout patterns resurfacing, and I think last year was a year for everybody to be challenged again in their old patterns, to bring them up again and see how far you've come, and then to let them go. It got me pretty good for quite a bit of the last year, and starting this year, it's just like I'm a new person, and everything just like it's the veil is lifted, and all the muck is gone, is swept away, and now the final product is coming out.
Very cool. Let's go back to final product. You actually have a an overview of a graphic that the program is based on.
I have a draft of that, and I'm not sharing that right now because
That's
it's
fine.
not correct. But
But
it's gonna come out, yeah.
I actually I want to go into the future 18 months, and when this draft you're satisfied with, what does the after picture look like? Is it a course? Is it a speaking series? Is it tell me what the final product might look like, even a guess.
So I'm working right now out of that picture, or while that picture happened, a lot of workshop ideas came up, and I'm working on finalizing those. There will be more things to be had as resources on my website. More speaking, absolutely. The newest one right now is with the bite-sized BizBox is changing how color influences your energy workflow. So basically, color your workflow and work more efficiently. Those are tiny things, but the whole program, there will be speaking about that, and it's one of the worst. Like I'm looking at one of the first workshops, probably gonna be not to say yes all the time.
Well, I won't pressure you into saying yes. How's that, Natascha?
Yes, for certain things is perfectly fine, but not always
So
yes to everything.
let me ask you this. As a person who's trying to design some of his own courses, am I guessing that you're hoping to have some beta testers or some
Absolutely.
inexpensive guinea pigs so that you can actually make sure that you know how it sounds and how it looks
Yeah,
even before you are 99.34% done?
absolutely. Yes, as I'm questioning everything I do, it's good to get the outside perspective because, and I do that for others too, even not ask. I look at their stuff and I tell them what I see because I find if nobody tells you what they see, you definitely won't see it. So, and then you cannot change it.
Having seen a rough of this graphic before it's finished, I live in fear a little bit. Like I could tell you what I know, but then you'd have to kill me.
Why?
So let me ask you this. Do you see this as a complement to your energy healing? Do you see it as a standalone product? Do you see it a toolkit where there's 30 products out there? What's the dream?
The dream is for everybody to have their tools at hand. I'm a solution thinker, not a problem thinker. So when you have a challenge, I will usually come up and say, you can do this and try that. And that's the same with the workshops and the courses. I think I have right now 50 ideas, but it's gonna be tempered down. I'll start with two and then see what else comes up. The point being is everybody's different. There is no one for all. So if there's a workshop that I put out right now in this way, it might be beneficial to put it out in a different way for other people. And I'm not bound by that. That I didn't stick just to one thing. So the sky is the limit. I don't know what's gonna happen. As to the question for the energy healing, awareness work for me happened out of the energy healing. Because when you can sense others' energy, you know the interactions between people. You know the fine, subtle information that comes in. You learn to listen to that. And again, you listen to your body. Um, there is a researcher in the movie Inside, which is an Icelandic movie about intuition, and he put it very nicely. He said, you use your brain about 3 to 5% consciously. The bigger part of your brain is used subconsciously, and your subconsciousness takes all the vibrations around you, all the energy around you, all the information around you, takes it in and translates it as intuition and awareness.
And then we actually invented an educational system that taught us to actually ignore those intuitions.
Yes, exactly.
But I'm not bitter.
Yes, no, it's true. It's so interesting when you start, like when I started the energy healing and also touch for health. We have one very nice tool to relieve stress. It's called emotional stress release, and all you do is you put your forehand on the stress relief points on your forehead. Tell me, how do you sit when you write a test and you're stressed?
I hunch.
You hunch and you put your hand you put your head on. You're releasing stress, and nobody tells you that. What does a mom do to their child in order to calm it down when it's too emotional? Hug is one, but also this one here.
I
And
didn't know that.
what happens there is you bring the blood flow to the forefront, which is rational thinking, or you bring the blood flow to the back brain, which is emotional. So you're switching back and forth and see that you get into wherever you need to be.
I run into a lot of people that have ADD, and so they listen to a 40-minute seminar and they want to leave with 2 points. What are some tells that they go, oh, I have to talk to Natascha? Give me a tell or two.
I tell you, when you catch yourself constantly hunching your shoulders, when your shoulders are basically at your ears, and when you don't breathe, that's one of the two first signs that you're in stress. If you tighten up, if you cannot breathe, if your voice is constant, that's another one which people don't realize. And I realize that in myself. If I'm calm, my voice is very low, not very low, but lower. And if I'm stressed, my voice gets higher and pressed, and people don't realize that.
I've actually been told I spend a great deal of my time sounding like an energetic squirrel.
My German, I had to practice that when I got into English because English tends to be higher. My German voice is more like this. And then I got to Canada and started speaking English, and my English, and see, I'm just relaxing, like just focusing on my voice. It's just relaxing because it's lowered again. Um, my voice became higher. So I started have that pressed voice that's more up here instead of speaking with my full chest. And it's so interesting when you do energy healing or sessions, people that walk out of the chair with me usually are their voice is deeper when they get out.
Yep, that doesn't surprise me at all. I can see that telegraphed right now. So tell me about the I want to know more interview. How does that work, Natascha?
So there's one in place right now, one thing in place right now, and I only have two, I'm setting up appointments for that, but I have once a month, I have a group call that is not completely free, but it's pay what you can, $1 to $10, just for the purpose that value my time, value my knowledge, and help me pay it forwards to others, depending on what you can pay.
And it
Um,
puts skin in the game.
That's the thing. People who don't pay for, and I'm the same. If I don't pay for it, I tend to skip it if I don't have time. But when I pay for it, I'm there. I'm focused because I'm committed. Um, and that's a group call that's happening once a month. I think it's the second Wednesday each month, and next time will be actually my birthday. Um, so come and celebrate my birthday. But yes, the thing is, I want to get people together to start talking with each other because that's another big part. If you don't have community, if you don't realize you're not alone in that, there's so many people that can reach out. And I've learned that in connections in one of our networking groups where we actually met. Um, if you have a supportive community, everything becomes easier because you
Mhm.
can reach out and there's people who see you. And I had that experience with our network that Janet Hum, for instance, saw me without me saying much, and she just reached out and said, "Come on, let's have a chat." And then she asked what's going on. Most people don't do that because they don't see you. If it's not set up with the intention to be like that, especially not in networking. So that's the
Well,
clarity call. And then there's one-on-one session or a one-on-one call if you want it. That's going to be in place too, that we can have a chat for 15 minutes. Actually, it's in place already. You can just call, schedule a call with me. We have a talk of 15 minutes. And you can see if I can give you any insights or not. I had somebody reach out last time on Facebook, which was very interesting, with the question that her husband was in burnout. And when I have the time, I'll try to make the time to get into a discussion about that. And there the question was, what can she do and how does she do? And all I told her was that just keep it judgment free and supportive and voice it not in a way that can be construed as judgment
mhm.
or expectation. If you ask, what can I do for you? How can I support you? Instead of saying, go find a job, go job hunting. People will open up and people can shift out of their own circle of thoughts that is like a spiral that's not letting them out of there. And I learned that with friends who are mentally challenged with disorders. And when they go into their phases, the only thing that helps is questions.
Mhm. That I do know.
Mhm.
You get a kick out of this. My mind connects things randomly. And when I saw your graphic, even for a second, I imagined an energy healing Trivial Pursuit. We would actually watch it, walk into a store and buy this and take it home. And but who knows?
Well, I can tell you I have a stress begone deck online that you can pull cards, and it has 6 categories. It's set up as online right now, but I'm working on making that a full deck that you can pull, and we're actually creating it as a PDF game, so you can roll the dice and pick the category, and then roll the dice and pick the card. So.
Folks, you heard it here first.
Yes, I haven't published that yet.
Natascha, I love what you're doing. I love the fact that you were willing to pierce the veil a little. I hope that I look forward to seeing the podcast. I look forward to hearing about it. And I know that people are going to be intrigued in a new way because um, this disconnects all the rational fears that we have to not call. So thank you very much, Natascha. I really love what you're doing, and I wish you all the best and wait for the future.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.